Giovanni. Tonight, the federal government removed Special Assistant to the President on Prosecutions, Obono-Obla, as head of its Special Investigation Panel on Recovery of Public Properties. Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai inaugurates a peace commission towards achieving lasting peace in the state. Commuters plying the Owerri-Okigwe Road in Imo State seek federal government intervention in the repairs of the dilapidated road. And the gunman attack at a local church in Texas, United States, leaves at least 27 people dead. We begin in Abuja, where the federal government today announced the suspension of Mr. Obono-Obla as the chairman of its Special Investigation Panel on the Recovery of Public Property. Attorney General of the Federation, and Minister of Justice, Mr. Abubakar Malami, who gave the government's position in a statement, says that recent actions of Mr. Obono-Obla ran contrary to the Enabling Act that established the panel. The AGF also directed Obono-Obla to henceforth desist from carrying out any operation in his capacity as head of the panel. Mr. Obono-Obla was also barred from further granting press interviews without firstly securing permission to speak on any official matter. The letter also directs him to promptly provide a detailed, up-to-date report on the activities of the panel to the Minister for transmission to the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo. Meanwhile, the presidency has made some clarifications on the appointment made by President Muhammadu Buhari so far. The special advisor to the president on media, Mr. Femi Adesina, said the list released is meant to debunk speculations about imbalance in the government's appointments and will be updated to accommodate more agencies. Mr. Adesina, who appeared in our flagship political program, Sunday Politics, insists the appointment was by the president has been fair to all regions.
Some people are picking holes in it, and I would say the holes they are picking, rather than vitiate the list, is even strengthening it. It's strengthening it. They don't need to cavil, finding fault unnecessarily. Rather, they should see the merit in that list. The list we released is work in progress. Why did we release that 157? Because a newspaper published 100 appointments and said 81 of them were from the north. It's like taking a small part of a whole, which some people call being atomistic, taking a small part to represent a large part. And then you want to make it believe that that is the truth and nothing but the truth. So that was why we released those 157 appointments. That's not exhaustive. There are still many more that are not included. But that list...
I would say you made major omissions. You agree?
Yes. You may not call them omissions for now because it's work in progress.
The key security emsmen of President Buhari are from the north.
Because with security...
Following the clashes witnessed in some areas of Kaduna State since 1981, the state government has set up a peace commission tasked with the responsibility of addressing the various ethno-religious conflicts. At the inauguration of the commission at Government House in Kaduna, the state governor, Nasir El-Rufai, appealed to people to reject the legacy of violent conflict and embrace the culture of peace and tolerance.
For the past 36 years, Kaduna State has witnessed several conflicts that led to the loss of lives and property. The farmers' herdsmen clash in the southern part of the state is the most recent the state government had to contend with. Peace may have been restored to the affected areas, but the state government believes more needs to be done to sustain that peace.
To the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and that I will preserve.
The setting up of a peace commission has become necessary. This is based on the recommendations of past commissions of inquiry and committees established to study each instance of conflict.
Since 1981, really shameful things, including murder, arson, ethnic and religious cleansing, and the displacement of communities have happened in this state. But we insist that the violent conflict that has hobbled Kaduna State shall not be the destiny of our state. We owe it to the victims to say never again, to try to establish mechanisms to proactively manage grievance, and to insist that impunity shall have no place, that all persons and communities must employ only peaceful means to resolve differences.
Among the Commission's assignments include the working to reduce violence and advocating ideas and programs that affirm ethno-religious diversity and promote peaceful coexistence.
We pledge to be faithful, honest, objective, and put our best in supporting your efforts to making Kaduna State safe, secure, friendly, and peaceful. We are totally committed to the promotion of the culture of respect for religious, political, cultural, and ethnic differences.
The Peace Commission is meant to help sustain peace and harmony, but the state government is seeking the assistance of residents to make it work.
Cameroonians seeking refugee status in Cross River State are appealing to the United Nations and the Nigerian government to wade into the ongoing crisis in the southern Cameroon. They made the plea during the distribution of relief materials by the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons at Ikom local government area of Cross River State. These are Cameroonians taking refuge in Cross River State as a result of a conflict between the English-speaking southern Cameroon and the Francophone central government.
And I believe, as I'm handing over,
they're gathered at the Ikom local government area to receive relief materials of food and non-food items from the federal government through the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons.
When this thing happened, we took upon ourselves to see that we protect them and assist the way we could.
For the refugees, Nigeria's support is welcome, but they believe there's no place like home.
I would like the Nigerian government to at least help us so that we can go back to our countries, to our own country, to our own home.
And we are begging the United Nations to do something with this problem, so that we can immediately go back to our homeland.
Back at the government house in Calabar, Governor Benayade meets with a team from the United Nations High Commission for Refugees and the ECOWAS. He is displeased with the delay in resolving the southern Cameroonian crisis several weeks after.
Who has spoken on behalf of Nigeria on the floor of the United Nations and say, hey, we have a situation here in Cameroon? Because as it is today, the people are under siege and they have no capacity to speak. Somebody has to speak for them. Why not putting fire on the issues of Cameroon? But I think they are human beings. It just could have been you.
The UN representative and the Refugees Commission assure the Cross River State government that all hands will be on deck to ensure the crisis is resolved.
We have received influx of refugees coming into Nigeria through your state. We have registered them. So far, we have registered over 2,000. The Commission, in collaboration with UNHCR, as well as the state SEMA, have been on the field for the past 3 weeks.
Over 2,000 refugees from Cameroon are already camped in several places across the state, and over 30,000 more are expected in the coming weeks. Commuters plying the Owerri-Okigwe Highway have appealed to the federal and state governments to commence immediate repairs on the bad portions of the road. According to residents, owing to the dilapidated state of the 59-kilometer stretch of the highway, a journey of less than an hour now takes about 2 hours.
Cars Cars and trucks navigate one pothole to another. Every drive is a pothole, a prominent feature along this route. This is the Obono-Obla Road in Imo State, a major link to Okigwe, Enugu, Abia and Ebonyi State. For over 3 decades, the 59-kilometer road has degenerated into a death trap for motorists. The worst portions are the Akabo, Amaraku and Obiohuru areas. Commuters are indeed finding it hard going.
This is an internally federal state road, which is supposed to be under state's care, you know. They have to do it. They have to intervene. Yes, they have to fix it. They have to do it so that it will be reasonable and motorable for us.
It's terrible. It's terrible. The thing has scattered my waist. In fact, all my body systems, I don't just know. I don't know. You have to help us talk to government. Let them come and rescue us. You can see. Before you know it, it becomes a gully erosion and nobody will be able to pass.
Some youths have taken advantage, turning the spot into a toll point in return for services rendered. Meanwhile, the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FEMA, has appealed to road users to be patient, as repair work will soon begin on the road.
We are making efforts to ensure that as the Yuletide approaches, with its attendant increase in traffic, all these failed sections, critically failed sections, will receive attention.
FEMA may have promised to start work on the Obono-Obla Road, but until that is done, commuters plying the route will have to contend with the discomfort till further notice.
It was a miraculous escape this morning for the driver of a saloon car after his vehicle plunged into the Asha River in Ilorin, the Kwara State capital. Eyewitnesses say the accident happened around 7 o'clock when the lone occupants of the car, who had been driving at top speed, lost control while trying to avoid a pothole on the bridge. The car flew off the bridge and crashed into the river several meters below. Passers-by are said to have hauled the male driver out of the wrecked car alive and almost unscathed, save for a few bruises on his hands. Our correspondents report that following the failure of emergency services to arrive on the scene, the people proceeded with efforts to bring the wrecked vehicle out of the water. In part 2, after the break, the federal government says how 35 states spent their portion of the Paris Club refunds are strictly confidential. Please stay with us.